Well, hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another installment of Off the Cuff with Kirt Jacobs. I think you're really going to enjoy this segment, this installment. We're going to talk about a worldwide phenomenon that I think just about every human being on planet Earth at least is aware of if they haven't participated in. It's huge in North America, the United States, and that is Black Friday. It's the day after Thanksgiving, after we all stuff our lovely little tummies with this frozen bird and we've had a big meal, hopefully with family and friends or maybe strangers if that's the case it may be, or maybe you're working, which we'll talk about. So let's talk about some facts, some fun facts behind the history of Black Friday. So did you know that on an annual basis, there's over $10 billion in worldwide sales and growing annually? And a lot of countries around the world have began to take up this particular sales phenomenon as well. So what it basically is, for those that maybe haven't experienced it, is deep discounts happen on this day particularly. So for example, $1,000 smart TV you could get for $499, and it's like not junk. It's a nice deal. And so these are highly sought after items. Back in the 1980s, before you had the internet and of course Amazon, you would have families, parents fighting over what was called the Cabbage Patch doll. They were running out of them. I think now you probably more get into supply chain issues and will my stuff get there on time from online shopping. But what it does is it marks the start of the Christmas season, at least in the United States. And how it began in 1942, the United States Congress made Thanksgiving an official federal holiday. It was the fourth Thursday of every November. And so that Friday was a work day. Well, it kind of became impractical. And so what happened is a lot of people would call in sick. They weren't really sick. They just didn't want to go to work. And it seemed kind of ridiculous because it was a 4-day weekend, more or less, that they were seeking. So over time, employees began to realize that this just didn't make a lot of sense. So they called in sick, and employers couldn't staff, various businesses of their own. Business wasn't really conducted in a proper fashion because then they had Saturday and Sunday off. So it's evolved from the 50s and then up into the 1980s when the term really took off. And when I was a young boy, you got out of school probably Wednesday at about noon, and you were off for 4 days. After that, you went back on Monday. Same with colleges. What I've seen is an evolution of actually the Thanksgiving break. Little tangent point here. It's now the whole week for a lot of places. I know that our child's school is off for the entire week. A lot of colleges are closed for the entire week. And I think, knowing what we know now, it just seems to be a lot more practical. And the stores did a phenomenal thing over the years. They honored the sanctity, if you will, of Thanksgiving and didn't open. Then they began to open 5 or 6 a.m. the next morning. Keep in mind, this is before the internet, Amazon. And then they would begin to open at midnight. Then some got really bold and started open about 7 p.m. with the theory being that most people had already had their afternoon, if you want to call it, Thanksgiving dinner, or maybe in at lunchtime with family and friends, or maybe strangers, if that's the case it may be. But it created a lot of controversy because if you think about it, if you're an employee or an employer, but an employee, and you're cooking or you've got family and friends coming over, and then you got an opportunity to maybe work in retail and you're doing overtime, that created a lot of controversy. So some retailers have backed off of it. A lot of retailers still embrace it. Of course, as we got into the 21st century, online shopping, Cyber Monday, which we're not going to talk about in this off the cuff, and Cyber Week has really exploded. We'll be talking about that in another segment. But statistically, Black Friday is the busiest shopping day on planet Earth every year. And like I said, it does over $10 million in sales. So why is it called Black Friday? Well, like I said earlier, employees were calling in sick. They weren't really sick. And then it became a derisive term, or it was seen as a derisive term, as you can imagine. So probably a very ingenious business person said, in accounting, most retailers operate in the red from January through November. And then they go into the black from after Thanksgiving up to Christmas. Aha, Black Friday, that's when they start making profits, which probably led to the deep discounts on major, highly sought after items, which would get people into the stores. Like $1,000 smart TV for $499. It's pretty amazing some of the deals you can find. So As this evolved up into the 1980s, it became a much more of a thing. Like people would actually get together, and then into the 1990s, like you'd have Thanksgiving dinner, you get with your cousins or your family and friends, and then you'd go out all day Saturday and fight the shopping malls. Excuse me, Friday and fight the shopping malls, at least in North America, the United States. And so there you have it. Alas, Black Friday has become a staple, if you will, in American, at least, pop culture shopping. So I hope you've enjoyed this segment. Now you know what Black Friday is. I hope you've enjoyed your turkey, wherever it is back there. And if you haven't checked us out, we're on all your social media platforms. Just go to MoxieTalk with Kirt Jacobs. Off the Cuff is our sister brand. You can find us on YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, and medium.com. Until next time, happy shopping, ladies and gentlemen. Have a great holiday season. We love you.